Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, and welcome back to a new video. Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can create this vintage type and logo badge design and how you can do it really easily using heritage type fonts. If you know me and know any of my work, I love vintage typefaces. I love hand lettering in a vintage way. Anything from the early 1900s or the late 1800s looks amazing to me, and I love the art of sign painting and the vintage floral decor that you can get in design. Well, today I'm going to be taking on the challenge of using heritage type fonts and floral assets that they've given to me to show you how you can easily create an amazing badge. So if you don't know, Heritage Type are expertly crafting these fonts. There are a ton of vintage fonts out there, but there are none quite like these, which have been expertly crafted from the ground up. Their fonts have been used on Netflix and Harley Davidson, so you can see them on actual pieces of professional work that companies are using. Now, all of the assets that I'm showing you in this video come from one font bundle, which you can get 10% off. It is the Vintage Font Bundle. But not only do you get all these assets and typefaces, you also get templates inside this bundle, which is pre-made graphics that you can just quickly write into if you don't want to go ahead and do what I'm doing today. So if you'd like 10% off the Vintage Font Bundle from Heritage Type Company, then go ahead and click the link down below in the description. So first of all, I'm going to get the font that they've given me, which is called Black River, and I'm going to use the bold version of it. I'm just going to write Paterson down here, scale this up with the standard font and go to Black River. You can see how vintage that font is right there, but there are so many other fonts as well that they offer on their website, and I've got a few of them. I've got the milkshake ones as well, which are nice, and it's all about the old style of writing, the old style of text being shown to people. They even have loads of frames that you can download and use. This is an asset here, and they've all been pre-made for you, or you can actually go and do your own, and it kind of looks overwhelming, but it's a lot for me as trial and error, so I'm constantly using different assets for it instead of having to draw them out. But first of all, I want to make sure it has a rise, and the way that I'm going to do this is not by fiddling around with the anchor points. I'm literally probably only going to find something in here that I can encapsulate it in. Let's try this asset for now. So I'm just going to copy this in here. I'm going to make it sort of grey as well. I'm going to put my N right there, because what I want to do is make the outside of it quite florally and use shapes to build the composition. So the way that I do it is I make sure my last letter is over here, and I'm going to scale it up so it's not too big but it's not too small, so somewhere around here, because I want the N to be there. Then I'm going to go to Effect, Warp, and I'm going to go to Rise, and you can see here, if I show you there, I can decrease or increase the rise however much I want. This is going to take some trial and error, so what I'm going to do is bring my appearance panel over here so I can see what's going on. So as I'm just fiddling with it, you can see that I'm just making sure that it fits all the way through the lettering. And if I don't like this asset here, I can just go ahead, find a new one, such as this one, which has got less of a rise on it. Make sure my last N fits there nicely. Go to Warp, bring that up, and I think we've got something here that I quite like. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my eraser tool with the thing selected, and I'm just going to get rid of these bits back here because we don't need these bits anymore. I'm going to actually lock Paterson as well into place. Take these assets that I don't need and move the rest behind so it doesn't fall out of the P too much. I haven't got anything that I can put down yet, so what I'm going to do is take my typography, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go to my appearance panel. This is a really powerful place where you can add effects and effects on effects. What I'm going to do first of all is add a new stroke, and I want the stroke to be black, so I'm going to make sure it's black. Then I'm going to add an effect, and we're going to go and make a drop shadow, and that gives us a 3D look at what we're doing. We need to sort of like change the fill color here a little bit, which we can do just doing that, and there we go, we've got that there. I'm even going to scale this down ever so slightly so we've got a proper fit all the way around. For these, I'm going to cut by using my eraser tool, which is the easiest way I can find, cut around. With this type of work, it takes a lot of trial and error to do different things. Now, the cool thing about this is we can add different effects onto it and different lettering on it. So I'm going to write designer up here in a circle. And the way I'm going to do this is create a circle, bring it up, change the fill to a stroke, and I want it to be about here, about there. I'm going to copy this because I want to use it later. And I'm going to go ahead, use type on a path. And in lowercase, I'm going to just write designer. And I'm going to make sure we increase that, put it in the center, and fiddle around with these little handles here. What this does is it centers the type where you need it to be. We're going to go to type on a path, options, and we're going to make sure that the align to path is centered. Then I'm going to go ahead and change the color to like something like so. I'm going to paste back in these little circular things here to create a path outline for it. And I'm really just going to eyeball this. So I'm going to select the paths and cut them just here. Select these two paths, cut them just here. And I'm going to cut them over here as well. I'm going to move that around, and with this space in the middle, so the first designer, Paterson, I can actually write a word in there if I wanted to, or do something that I like to do, which is this, some line work in the center. And I'm just eyeballing it because I don't want it to be perfect because it's supposed to be hand drawn. I can always edit it later, but I'm using the line tool here like so. I'm going to take these three behind the P, put it to the back. And then down here, I'm going to add this squiggly thing here. Now, this is going to be a place where it's going to box it all in together. And then all I need to do is add some other assets around. But what I can do to make it easier on myself is create a border around everything. So I know what spaces I need to fill. So from here, I know if I create a guide, all the way around here, I need to fill. So for instance, with the lines, I can go up to the top, and this is a really simple way of doing it. You can use a lot of other techniques. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because the way that I like to do it is I don't want it to be perfect all the way around. Otherwise, it just looks too computer generated. I want there to be subtle differences in the line width. And of course, because it's a bit easier, design and illustration in vintage terms is always going to be more so creating lines and patterns to fit the composition. And then down in the bottom right over here, I'm going to go find some single elements that I can fixate upon. Maybe some, I don't know, some floral things like over here. And it's all about now composing it correctly without ruining anything that I'm normally doing. So instead of creating your paths manually and doing it like this, which you can see there are some inconsistencies, which I don't personally mind because you see them quite a lot with illustrative work, and also because I can just quickly go ahead and edit them if need be. But what you can do instead is create a shape, and I'm going to show you how to do that by creating 3 lines such as this, or 4 lines even. Highlight that, bring it into your swatches panel, and now you've created a swatch. I'm going to go ahead, make a square here, and press that swatch in the right, and you can see it looks a bit strange, but there's lines there. Double click on the swatch and move certain swatch lines to where they need to be to fit the pattern, and all we're doing is creating a pattern, and I kind of like that. So now no matter what you're doing, you've got a vectored pattern of lines if you wanted to do it such as that. So what I could do is I can take my lettering here, copy and paste it, outline it, copy and paste it, go ahead, go to expand appearance, can move it, and we can create some lines here, get rid of the stroke, bring that to the back, and we've created a pattern there that looks as though there's more detail, and you can just play around with this as much as you think is necessary. And I just like to mess around with it really, just like so. Move it down, move it out, but it's all going in the same way and in the same direction. Something that I will do with this though is turn down the opacity if I'm going to have it there, just because I don't want it to ruin anything else that I'm working on. For over here, I'm thinking of having maybe a circular flower, maybe something like this actually. Bring it down, see what we can fit on here. If I see a spot in the design such as here, you can see it's all pretty much filled in everywhere else. If I see a spot there, I'm going to fill it in with a flower of some sort. So I can go ahead again, take this flower here if I wanted to, which is a different flower, which is always a good thing. Scale it down, put it here, bring it behind that flower, definitely put these lines behind the flower, bring all your work to the top, and there you go. Now, what if you wanted to change the color of all of this? Well, Most of the time you will do, but I always leave that to the end because you want colors to be consistent throughout. So select all your work, make sure you've got nothing locked. Select all of it, Alt drag. I'm going to go ahead and expand appearance of everything. Now that we've Alt dragged it and we've got a copy over here, if we mess something up over here, it doesn't really matter too much. So what I'm going to do is highlight it, and there's a little wheel at the top here. This little wheel will save your life. If you're a designer, doesn't know what to do or how to change the color, this wheel will save your life. Hit that wheel, go ahead and press on the color that you want to change, or we can just go ahead, edit, link them all and change the hue. And as you can see, as we change the hue, it's going to change the colors in accordance to what they are. There's a pink one right there. Now, obviously, if you're a designer or someone who just wants to know how to do these sort of things, or how they've built their own on their website, which you can find at heritagetype.com, then they give you templates inside the vintage font bundle, just here on the right. If you select that, go to Illustrator, you can click on any of these and open them up in Illustrator to see exactly how they made it. And you can even change the typeface. So you can add your own flair to them, or just mess around and see what you can come up with. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This was sponsored by Heritage Type Company. So click that link down below in the description if you want to see more fonts from Heritage Type Company and see what else they have to offer. Honestly, you can't find fonts like this anywhere else online. The amount of precision that's needed to create these old-timey fonts that we don't ever see anymore, it's amazing. It's great for weddings. It's great for churches that have an old school vibe to them. It's also great for book covers as well. You can create really cool book cover illustrations or book covers for your portfolio with these fonts. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to press that red subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon. Goodbye.